It's been a long road since the original Kicker christened that first pickup truck. It kicked off a car audio renaissance, and upgrading your music in a vehicle was a requirement. America's music machines became living loud over your passion, your emotion, your existence. Outdoors or on the open road, your sound is Kicker.
Hey, what's up? Cody Elkins coming at you from my place here in Oklahoma. I want to thank you guys so much for being a part of the Kicker UnMasked show. I'm such a huge fan of Kicker. Honestly, I use their products every single day. The products are second to none, and they treat people just like their family. They've been with my family since before my family began. You know, from the early stages of my career as a freestyle motocross athlete, all the way to building 15 different SEMA vehicles. So can't thank those guys enough. Here's to 20 more years. Keep living loud.
Hey, what's up everybody? I'm blues rock guitar player Kenny Wayne Shepherd. I've been living loud with Kicker for over 13 years. And every time I get in one of my cars, Kicker is definitely along for the ride. Thanks Kicker for making the soundtrack of my life sound so much better.
Race fans, it's time to light the fire, burn some tires, and find out who's the best driver in the IMCA Northern Sport Line Division. Reimer's got another good start. Watch the 21. He goes to the high side. He chops it down. He goes under it. Side by side, Reimer's to the point. Give him a round of applause. Cam Reimer. Here comes last night's future winners. He is on the move in the 21. 3 wide for second. Here comes Reimers. Reimers 4 wide down the back straightaway. Reimers to the top side of the speedway. Here comes Cam Reimers from 10th to 2nd, ladies and gentlemen, as he puts his eyes on Gerardo. Will in that Kicker sponsor 21 as he takes a shot. He fires a slider. Race fans, let him hear he sweeps the weekend. Here can you, Cam Reimer?
I'm Steve Irby. I'm the president and the founder of Kicker. Back in high school, I was playing in a rock and roll band and needed a bigger speaker for my keyboard. And I went to my dad and asked him for $300. I remember the newspaper kind of dropped and he says, "Is that something that we could build?" 2 or 3 days later, he came home with a book on audio and it had plans for building speakers. We built a speaker enclosure and put an amp on it, and I played my keyboard through it, and it sounded really good. I graduated from college and went to grad school. I began to realize I don't want to be a sociologist, and decided that I was going to drop out of grad school and start a speaker company. I had about $12,000 that I had inherited from my grandparents. It seemed to make sense to use it to start a business. And so we bought woodworking tools, we bought plywood, and we got plans from the Alltech Lansing Company for building these big voice of the theater speakers that a lot of bands used. We started building those in the garage and just selling them to local bands. In 1980, a friend of mine contacted me and said that he had started a music store in Canton, Oklahoma, and there was a lot of guys that drove pickup trucks. I designed a speaker that fit just in the little wedge shape behind a seat in a single cab pickup truck and sent it over to him. And he called me back a few days later, and you know, the guys love this speaker, we need more, and you know what they call it? And I go, no, what do they call it? And he goes, well, they call it the ass kicker. Back in the early 2000s, we got involved primarily in motocross. We were looking for ways to market our product. We began using the tagline, living loud, and so motocross went right along with that. Arena cross was a natural fit for us, wanting to live loud with motorcycles and the people that enjoy watching that type of events. We're very excited to be involved with Arena Cross and where it's going today.
Something about your hands on the wheel, got a sexy touch. It's enough to make me and my Chevy blush. So long, take it all off of that highway. Turn me on, I'll let you drive, babe. You can take it fast as you want to. Girl, little dirty looks damn good on you. Start me up, Stones on the radio. Girl, I love the way you let go. Don't waste your way in the wrong way. Get out on some 4x4 play.
Kicker Performance Audio. For almost 50 years, we've been rocking the planet with our world-class product covering everything that drives you, whether in your car, truck, boat, motorcycle, side-by-side, or even on your head. Kicker Performance Audio's passion for bringing you your favorite music like you've never heard it before is what drives us. So wherever you need us, Kicker Performance Audio will be there for you.
Kicker bullfrogs are waterproof, dirt-proof, and drop-proof. Feeling froggy? Hop online to kicker.com and see the entire family of Bullfrog products, or visit your nearest Kicker retailer to get yours today.
just in. Extra low frequencies detected emanating from the heavens. Saucer-shaped objects confirmed all over the world. Unidentified flying K saucers spotted delivering Kicker's amazing new CompQ subwoofer. Built for precision, built for abuse, built for the future and benefit of mankind. Kicker's new CompQ woofer leaves audiences astounded and amazed as it reveals subtleties in their favorite music in a way that is sure to make women blush and grown men cry. The surround features Kicker's variable cross-section high-roll design, allowing extended cone travel and excellent cone control. It's firmly attached to the cone, reinforced with our iconic stitching. Betsy Ross would be so proud. The injection-molded solo cone and laser X cone brace combined in a single ultra-rigid unit. Venting in the brace relieves performance-robbing back pressure. All this adds up to very low distortion and amazingly clean low bass. A progressive roll blue lace spider adds even more cone control at maximum excursion. The woven tinsel leads are sandwiched between the spider and the lace for durability and long life and to prosper. The spring terminal's heavy-duty square design accepts wires as big as 8-gauge or two 12-gauge wires for multi-sub installations. The high-temp voice coil is rumored to be spun upon the looms of the gods of polyamide fiberglass, along with a reinforced former for high strength and power handling. Now, add colossal magnets, plus a cavernous bump back plate, an extended pole piece created in a single forging, the likes that haven't been seen since the creation of Poseidon's trident. And the result is a driver with superior control and effective heat dissipation that extreme performance demands. The all-new Kicker CompQ is designed from the ground up to deliver everything you demand from a premium subwoofer. High output, deep, powerful, accurate bass, remarkably small enclosure requirements, stunning good looks, and not to mention the ability to frighten small children when turned up to 11. So there you have it. The all-new Kicker CompQ subwoofer. Another zenith of innovation and epic majesty from Kicker.
this Tuesday night, 7:30, right here on the Kicker YouTube and Facebook channel. We're coming to you live right here from Stillwater, Oklahoma in the UnMasked studios. And I'll tell you what, guys, we got a heck of a show. It's been kind of crazy around here, but we'll get into more of that later. But make sure you guys stick around. If you guys like the show, make sure you hit like and subscribe. Let your buddies know. Once again, we want to keep doing this. You got any suggestions, things you want to see, things you don't want to see? We really don't care. But once again, hope you guys are going to learn something about car audio. We try to teach all facets of car audio, answer any kind of questions you guys might have. And don't forget, if you get questions after hours and it's not during the show, support at kicker.com. We got a great group of guys that answer questions, you know, pretty much all day long. And they get some pretty good ones. We'll go over a few of those here a little bit later. But I want to let you guys know, if you guys don't know who I am John Myers. I am the host of Kicker Unmasked Live, and you guys are probably looking at me going, why are you not wearing the unmasked shirt? Well, I wear several different hats in this case. Not only am I the senior global trainer and the host of the show, but I've got to do a few other things here and there, and we're going to talk about more of those here in just a minute. But the reason I'm wearing the Kicker Tech Force training shirt is we got some cool guys in the house. So let's go ahead and bring the Falcon guys out. If you guys wonder what we do here around the Kicker facility when you guys aren't watching, we got our good old reps from Falcon. These guys are up from the Pac Northwest, handling Washington, Oregon, and the great state of Alaska. Scott, Lewis,
how are you, John?
Great to have you guys on the show. So we're always trying to educate our dealers and our rep force to make sure you guys get the most up-to-date, the most accurate information as possible. And we take the time to fly these guys in, wine and dine them, let them have a little fun, and embarrass them by putting them on the show.
Absolutely.
So I don't think they were quite ready for this. They wanted to see what was going to happen. I said, we're going to put you right in the middle of the mess. So guys, we appreciate you coming out, and you're going to go out and sell a lot of Kicker now, aren't you?
Absolutely.
Living
loud.
Yep, because we want to keep doing this and having some fun. So guys, thanks for doing that. I really appreciate it. And once again, we got to mention everybody else in the show. Guys, you can go sell something.
Thanks, man.
So thanks for having them come out. So as usual, we got the best group in the country running the video. We've got Tim behind the camera back there, making sure I'm hopefully in focus, but not too close, because you guys don't want to hurl on the camera. As always, we've got Ernie in the back. We have Bill Frog. We have JW. We have got the best group anyone could ask for, and we got to have fun. We got to do this every week, and we got to do it for you guys. And the more you guys keep watching, the more you like the show, the more we're going to keep doing it, the more cool things we're going to have. And by gosh, I keep talking about this. We're going to have a heck of a show tonight. We almost need to put velvet ropes in here. We got so many people coming in and out tonight, but it is going to be a blast. But as always, we got to thank Steve and Becky Irby, the founders of Kicker. Once again, we're coming up on 50 years next year, and I've only been here 25 of that, so I'm only like half as old as the company is. But no, actually, that's not even true either. I'm older than the company is. But Steve and Becky let us get together and do this every week. They make sure we get together and have good dinner, and we had a heck of a crew here for dinner tonight. In fact, we actually had to go borrow the break room over there because we didn't have enough room here in the studio to fit everybody. But hey, guess what? You know what it was? Yeah, I thought you probably figured out. We had Texas Roadhouse again. That's like 4 out of 5 times. I think there's a pattern here. I think we really like that Texas Roadhouse. But once again, do not forget to register for the McMahon contest. Register to win that 24-karat gold-plated alternator from McMahon, not to mention all the accessories. And as usual, we've got the usual contest coming up where you guys can register to win. Hopefully you guys have noticed that at 7:15 we open the contest where you can register to win the giveaways that we give away every single week. And Ernie, if you want to go ahead and pop up the laptop here, as usual, we got our prize list, which you get on to kicker.com/UMweekly, where you can register to win. The third prize drawing is going to be the Kicker EB400. That's going to be the weatherproof earbuds and the Kicker koozie and that great Kicker t-shirt that's back behind me. Second prize, you're going to get a little bit better headphones. You're going to get the Bluetooth, the Tabor headphones, which are the over-the-ear Bluetooth headphones. And if you don't have them charged, they still work like regular headphones with that, anechoic cord that you got to plug in like these microphones have. And the grand prize, as always, is going to be the Kicker Cush NCs, and those are the Kicker noise canceling headphones, and I'm not kidding, I use those almost every single night. They sound great, they sound killer, and they block out all that extra annoying noise that you don't want to listen to. So great contest going on, but make sure you register for those. Then that McMahon contest, I cannot believe we haven't got like billions of people registered. A 24-karat gold-plated alternator. I mean, that is awesome. Now, if you think about it, even if that doesn't fit on your vehicle, which it's going to fit on a wide range, I think GM Trucks is going to be the vehicle it's set up for. But I mean, what a heck of a conversation piece to put in your shop, or in your garage, or on your coffee table, or the mantle, or in the bedroom, wherever you want to put it. But make sure you guys register for that. Make sure you guys check out the website. Ernie's still got the laptop pulled up here, so let's go back over to the Kicker website. Going to pull this up and kind of show you some things that are going on. Here's the contest for McMahon, and they're going to give you not only the alternator, you're going to get 12 feet of 1-aught power wire, 12 feet of 1-aught ground wire, 2 MRBF 200-amp fuses. Now, the MRBF fuses are the waterproof marine fuses that are completely sealed, so they're ignition-proof. We're going to give you 2 battery terminals. We're going to give you the distribution block, and we're also going to give you 2 packs of RT10 nickel-plated 1-aught terminals. Now, that is a lot of stuff. There's probably about $300 worth of accessories just to hook those alternators up. So make sure you guys register for that. And as we scroll down here, we're going to go back up to the next thing we want to talk about, which is the Kicker Facebook page. Now, if you go to the Kicker Facebook page, we've got a lot of unique tabs. I mean, we're just going to start scrolling down here into events. Now, to get to events, you're going to go down here to more, click on events, and that's going to pull up this little screen here. And obviously tonight, we're going to talk about, how to get sponsored, what it takes, and, what the relationship is with some of the people we work with. Do not forget, if you guys are in Oklahoma, down in Lawton, this weekend we're going to do the USACI Finals. So if you guys want to see some, top quality car audio systems and come listen to some cool cars and just have a good time, I think the weather is going to be great. So come on out to that. Or if you happen to be in the Stillwater area, don't forget we have Cars and Coffee coming up this weekend. That's every Saturday from about 8 till noon. We just gather in the parking lot, with our cars. Everybody has a good time. We just chill out and talk about, anything that comes to mind. Cool cars, the beautiful weather, motorcycles. I mean, we've had everything from Lamborghinis to, Model A's. Doesn't matter. If it drives, bring it here. And even if it's on a trailer, a couple of these base guys, they have brought their vehicles in on trailers. But scrolling down the list, we've got even more coming on. And of course, Base Wars. You can't forget Base Wars. Those things are everywhere. So we're going to actually talk about the Texas half-mile event. And Lauren, I think we have another wonderful guest. I mean, it's so good to see Lauren here. Lauren, buddy, come on in here. We talk about you just about every week, and we, kind of show the events that you're going to be at. Of course, you're going to be down at Texas Motor Speedway.
I was just at Texas
You were
Motor
just
Speedway,
at Texas.
yeah.
See, I can't even read my
Actually,
script.
what we're coming up on this weekend will be the Kicker Monster Truck Nationals Round 2 in Hobbs, New Mexico.
So see, that's why I get him here for those updates. And tell us what you do at these events, because you're there just hammering out the dirt every single event, and we couldn't do it without you.
We've been really blessed, been really fortunate to be able to do this. American Flat Track has been a fantastic event for us. We started doing some stuff as their official audio sponsor last year.
I think Tim and the guys made a cool new display, which I think they picked up last weekend.
Man, that thing pounds. Tim, props, dude. That thing gets so much attention out there. And it's actually, we've stepped up our sponsorship level this year to be the presenting sponsor of the American Flat Track Singles Class. With that,
so no married people?
There's a shot right there from, sorry, I missed that podium shot from the production twins class. And as you can see, they've got us well branded, taking good care of us. There's Corey Texter right there. He's one of our kicker athletes. He is the reigning production twins AFT champion. And he took the night home in production twins at Texas last weekend. So
I'm telling you, if you guys have never seen Harleys going 140 miles an hour down the backstretch, it's something to see. And these kids do a hell of a good job.
These guys are crazy. I mean, they were turning Texas in high 19s, mid 19 seconds, half mile. So just over a 90 mile an hour average.
And that's not even straight.
No,
that's 2 turns in there.
When you watch them, they're pinned all the way down the straight, and they cut the throttle to pitch it into the corner. So, yeah, nuts, crazy.
They're wrangling those bikes around the corners.
But what I do, I go in, I set up, often work with dealers and reps in the area. We get an activation set up. I work with the American Flat Track team just to help them out if they need help with branding or getting branding up. Or sometimes, I help them hold their tent down when the wind comes up.
You're not going to hold down much. You're kind of scrawny compared to me anyway.
I feel like I'm working on it, but I have been on the road for like 3 weeks. So, but we started the season out going down and east to Volusia during Daytona Bike Week for American Flat Track. Fantastic racing. The AFT singles presented by Kickers class was, I believe, the margin of victory was less than 2, I think 0.019 something.
That's almost a photo finish.
Yeah, so our class put on a heck of a show.
That's what you like to see. You like to see some good competition
Absolutely.
rather than just a complete runaway. But
Yeah.
hey, if you're the one racing, you want to be the complete runaway.
Right.
But
Yeah, exactly.
the fans want a show.
And we've had, the American Flat Track is great. Those are our people. That is our demographic. They're all about living loud,
Well,
so
and they do a good job. And like I said,
Yeah.
we can't thank you enough for
Thank
helping
you.
us out with that.
Yeah.
And I think we showed a picture of your truck last week. I
Oh, you
didn't tell
did?
Ernie we were going to talk about it, but
unfortunately I was on the road and I apologize for missing it, but I was crammed up in a hotel probably somewhere in the Florida Panhandle.
ducking from tornadoes, right?
Yeah, tornadoes, Florida.
Hey,
Come on.
I've seen them there.
But yeah, my truck, man, that thing gets some attention.
If you guys are going
It's a
down
lot
the
of
road and you
fun.
see this big old Dodge Dually with a camper on the back and you swear to God Evil Knievel was driving it, that's his truck. I mean,
Yeah.
that is an awesome scheme that they
Thank
put on
you.
that. I mean, it definitely stands out. You're looking at an American vehicle, a kicker.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like it definitely screams kicker, and I wanted to put kind of my little flair of my ode to Evil Knievel as my childhood hero, and put a statement on living loud. And boy, it gets a lot of attention.
Yeah, I bet it does, and it looks pretty darn cool.
Thank you.
Well, Lauren, I appreciate you doing
John,
that. And
I'll let you get to it. You got a huge show. I'm jealous.
yeah, it's going to be crazy. We got some cool people waiting
I know
to
you
get
do,
out here.
so-
And as always, we've got even more stuff we got to do before that. So we're going
right.
to keep rolling here, and I'm going to see you real soon. I can't
See you
wait to
soon,
work with
buddy.
you again, Lauren.
Thank you.
Hey, drive safe. Do not drive like I do, because they tend to not like that on the highway. So, all right, Ernie, if you want to pull the laptop back up, we need to talk about all the fun places you can track Kicker down and all the cool stuff you could meet. We cannot forget the Kicker Club. Andy has done such a good job with this website. And once again, right here, we've got a system request. We want to see pictures of your audio systems. We want you to send in the pictures. We want to talk about it. And once again, we may actually get you guys to, stream in live, and we'll go over your system. You can tell us what you like and what all you're done. We don't care if it's not all Kicker. We're all about audio. I mean, that's what we're here. We're here to have some fun and to, just show off what you got, kind of rung what you brung. And you also got Living Loud with Andy. Don't forget that, where Andy gets online and he talks about an hour and a half about all things audio. And once again, it's not just Kicker. We talk about audio in general because this is what we do. This is what we love. We always have a good time with that. So moving right along from there, we also got to talk about the Instagram channel. Yes, you can find Kicker on Instagram. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on YouTube. And on the Instagram page, and as we scroll down, you're going to see a whole bunch of installs. I want to pull this one up real quick. This was actually done by Steve Stotts, and I actually have been to his shop in Hawaii. This is kind of a neat little enclosure design where he took one of our, Comp R woofers with one of our passive radiators, and we do sell those passive radiators or reflex subwoofers separately. But he did the old stack fab and made a new console for this Jeep out of it. So really cool work on that enclosure. So, you can see a bunch of really cool stuff. I think we got a picture of Steve and his wife right here standing in their showroom. But these guys have been awesome Kicker supporters off there in Hawaii. And once again, we've got some other cool things going on. Here we start talking about the Kicker page, and we've been talking about the downward firing L7T woofers. Absolutely a phenomenal woofer. I love the L7T. Ton of power, small enclosure, large enclosure, they don't care, they sound great. But as I was fumbling through here trying to find something interesting to talk about, we get into some of the supports and sites that Living Loud. There's all different things you can click on here to see what's going on. But one of the other things I like is the Kicker YouTube page. So if you go to Kicker YouTube, you guys might be watching us on YouTube tonight. This is interesting. If you click on the channels tab, and of course we've got the videos tab where you can go back and watch past episodes of Unmasked. You can watch training videos, product videos. But this one was kind of interesting, and I'm kind of an old school guy, and I've been doing car audio for a long time. I just kind of clicked on this link right here. It's called Old School Car Audio. So this is actually from Australia, which is cool. It's really kind of unique that I found this app because I was talking to my buddy John Grosso from Australia just a little bit ago. We were talking about the key amplifier. And I got to tell you what a knucklehead this guy is. The first time I'm down in Australia, he puts me in his right-hand drive race car. And it's like, I don't know how to drive a right-hand clutch. It's got a clutch too. So I got a crash course, not literally, in learning how to drive in Australia in John's race car, but it was a lot of fun. We got some more racing stuff we're going to talk about a little bit later. But, look through some of our sites and, just scout out. There's a lot of really cool things you can learn and do. So not just Kicker. I mean, we actually have a whole bunch of other links in here. So make sure you check out all the Facebook and YouTube channels for Kicker. And that's going to kind of bring us up to the next thing. We talked about having some pictures available. So while we got the laptop up here, I'm going to go ahead and pull up some pictures that we're going to talk about today. Now, this one's from Aaron Doub, D-O-U-B. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but I love the fact that you're using different types of materials. I'm not sure if that's a laminate, if it's a vinyl wrap, if it's a veneer, but I really like the fact that, in this 3-woofer enclosure using the 41L7s, that you've used some different materials in this install and a nice display of the amplifiers. I mean, it pretty much makes the back seat of that worthless, and I think that's a pickup. I'm not sure. It doesn't really say what vehicle it is. But great little, install. Very clean, very simple. I mean, nice and tidy. The fuse is easily accessible, so definitely a really cool install. Next, we're going to bring up a boat. Now, I really like the fact this is from Jeff Cuvelier. I hope I pronounced that correct, Jeff, but if you've noticed me, I really like the multi-layers and the use of different materials, and this is in a boat installation, and this is really a neat looking install with LED backlighting. Of course, they've got that 8-inch marine coax with the LEDs. So just a great install. In fact, if you go to our Facebook and, even the Kicker website and the YouTube channel, you're going to see some really cool pictures. They've got a ton of pictures they've done of boats. And once again, I really, really like to see the different materials used together, just making it all blend. I mean, even though you're using several different materials, they look like they belong together. It looks like something the factory would have done. Here's another one from Joe Hurst, and I really like the purple LEDs in the back. I'm kind of the lighting guy. Very simple, high quality system. I bet this thing absolutely hammers. Just beautiful work. And don't ever be afraid to, send pictures of whatever you got, guys. We want to see it all. We love it. So that's always fun and exciting, the pictures. And like I said, I'm kind of rushing a little bit, not too much, because I know we got a whole big show, but I've got some viewer questions that, we get through the week. And, it's really interesting. The guys get some pretty amazing questions and some really fun ones. And this is a question I thought was really interesting because it addresses something that I've seen occasionally, and a lot of people, may not understand why it works this way. But the question is, the amp was playing fine, but was blowing my inline power fuse when it would hit really hard. The amplifier is a CXA 1800.1 hooked to one Sundown 12-inch. What's the issue? Well, obviously, we would need to know more about the impedance it's wired at, but he's got a pretty good indicator with the next sentence. It says, I regrounded the amp. Why is it going into protection mode? I've got 0 gauge ground wire and 8 gauge power wire. So what he's telling us here is he has basically mismatched the power and the ground wire. Now, in a lot of installs, you talk about, if the wire is shorter, it doesn't have to be as big in diameter. But when it comes to amplifiers, the power going from the power wire and the ground wire is equal. They've got to be balanced. So even though you've got, a really short run of ground, don't use a really small ground wire. We've actually seen people send back amplifiers where the ground wire is like melted inside of the terminal because it got so hot. But always make sure you've got the same gauge power and ground wire, and make sure that you follow, the guidelines as how far you're running the power wire, as to what gauge you need, and always make sure your connections are tight. This is another big area that we've seen, and not a whole lot of, but it happens. If your connections are not tight, if you got, a screw loose in the power wire or the ground wire, there's going to be a voltage drop at that connection. Anytime there's a voltage drop, there's going to be, basically power dissipated right there. So we talk about, how much power it takes to, melt anything at all. And, if you've got a 1 volt drop through a 100 amp draw, 1 volt at 100 amps, that's 100 watts. So 100 watts of power is serious. Your little cheap pencil soldering irons are 15 watts. So it only takes 15 watts to melt solder, but you can see real quickly with a 1 volt drop in a decent sounding system, you can actually have enough power to melt a fuse holder. The other thing you need to look out for are the fuses themselves. Those barrel style fuses that have the glass in the center that actually snap into the little terminals, those can be another source of, a poor contact, and that can actually melt. In fact, what I've seen happen with those fuses is they get hot enough that they melt the solder out of the end of the fuse. So when you look at the fuse, it looks okay, but yet the fuse is not making good contact to carry the current internally. So make sure you check all those things. So that's really important to make sure you follow good power, good grounding practices, and of course always bolt your ground to the body or the frame of the vehicle. Don't just use the self-tapping screws. Second question tonight. I have a 2018 KMC 10 on my boat, and the screen remains pretty dark at all times. But it seems to work okay, and I see a little bit of blue when it's on. Is there a way to reset the unit to allow the screen to work, or is it no longer functional? Well, on the KMC 10, it's got 2 different screen modes. You have a daytime mode and a nighttime mode. So the daytime mode is mostly bright colors with light backgrounds and dark letters. The nighttime mode is almost the exact opposite. So it may be set to the nighttime mode, and that unit also has a brightness adjustment for that display. So get in, check the owner's manual. If you can't find the owner's manual, you can go back to kicker.com and you can pull it up in our manual section to figure out how to get that unit back in to a visually operating mode. So the next question, this one's crazy. I mean, this is going to be a hard one to read, so I'm gonna read it the way it's written. I'm trying to replace my factory system, my 2001 Lincoln MKX THX certified vehicle, and am on to Amp Choice and purchase. I've got 2 CompQ loaded enclosures. I have 4 6x8s, 2 CS 5 1/4, 2 6.5 inch, 4 1-inch tweeters, and a looks like a 1 1/4 inch stock Sony dash speaker. They're all brand new purchased with the Kicker brand. I want everything to remain a Kicker except for the receiver. So there's a lot going on. I'm needing advice of which of your products I need to complete this setup, or at the very least, I really need help figuring out which amplifiers I'm going to need, and or if the crossovers are going to be of any help. Well, what I like to tell people in a situation like that is just because your vehicle has that many stock speakers, it's not necessary to use them all to get a really good sound quality. In fact, I always like to tell people, keep it simple, stupid. The simpler, the better. Some of the best sounding systems I've ever heard have been a set of, good front speakers, a good set of components, and a single woofer. And with time alignment and the proper tuning, you can get that thing to image absolutely incredible. When you have that many speakers, and literally you're going to need probably 2 8-channel amplifiers and a subwoofer amp to give all those speakers their own individual channels, using the active crossovers, it's going to be a pain in the butt to tune and set up correctly. So, even though you've got this many locations, it's not necessary for good sound quality to have that much and to make the whole thing complicated for you. So, once again, keep those questions coming in. Those are from our support at kicker.com. I'm going to look up to the screen here. JW, we got any good questions coming up from the guys? Here we are. Mark says, before the show, I have a question about the key 200.4. If anyone knows the answer, well, we hope we do. If you're running only the front stage, should I still point the microphone up or forward during calibration? And this is a really interesting thing. And with the key 204, by playing pink noise, it does allow you to tune the system to the acoustics of the vehicle and the speakers specifically to give you that Kicker sound. Now, whenever I use the amp in bi-amp mode, when I'm only using the 4 channels to the front, like amp 1 to the tweeters, amp 2 to the mid-ranges, I always point the microphone forward because I don't care what's behind me. I usually don't play rear speakers. I want that front stage. I don't care so much about the rear fill. So I always point the microphone straight forward when I'm setting up in the bi-amp mode. Now, if you're running it in 4-channel mode with front and rear speakers, you do want to put it on the headrest facing up, because it is going to pick up the rear speakers. And when you listen to it, don't be alarmed when you notice the high frequencies are attenuated on the rear speakers, because we do that intentionally to bring that stage farther forward. Now, as far as other tips in tuning that, you can actually move that microphone left or right on the headrest, front or back, or even up or down. It's going to change the tuning slightly. So just experiment with just a little bit. I think you're going to get some really good results on what's going to happen with the tuning, that key 200.4. Not to mention that 50 watts by 4 is not bad either. So that being said, we're going to keep bringing people onto the show here. I think we're going to bring up Roger Demery. Roger is one of our, well, let's let Roger tell you exactly what he does. Roger and I have been working together for quite a while. Roger, thanks for coming on the show. Nice shades.
Nice. John,
I like
it's so good to finally be here on Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. And
I've been there.
Wait, is that the right show?
Yep. Hey.
Oh, okay.
We do have.
I was wondering where Jim was.
We
in the
got
helicopter.
several animals hanging in the back there on video. I see, getting ready to come on here.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you. Well, it's.
So tell everybody what you do, and you know why it's so important we bring you here to this show tonight.
Well, first let me apologize for the eyewear.
No, actually, I like them. They cover up more of your face.
Yes, true. Yeah.
That's what they usually tell me anyway.
I thought I'd try the do-it-yourself at-home X-ray vision kit I got from the back of a comic book. And
I thought maybe you were arc welding without a helmet.
Kids, seriously, don't try this at home, but I'll give you an update. But no, there is a reason why this, so I apologize. John, I am the currently the Associate Director of Brand and Sports Marketing here at Kicker. And man, it's a ton of fun to do what we do. We get to bring and have a lot of different influencers, from athletes and entertainers and people in the car stereo world doing base competitions and building some of the coolest hot rods on the planet, going to SEMA. And so we have a great number of guys and girls, and so that's what part of one of the hats I wear.
So pretty much anyone that's looking for help with kicker gears up there, they're going to go pretty much through you.
True.
And some are going to sideline through me, which and then I'm going to divert them to you. So you're pretty much the keeper of the pocketbook.
Well, yeah, and trust me, like most companies, we run on a budget that's thinner than 2-day-old roadkill. So
that's pretty thin, especially in this Oklahoma sun.
Yeah. So as much as we'd love to help everybody out, we can. So we do have criteria for whether you're looking for product support or financial support if you're an athlete, et cetera. So yeah, we kind of run the gamut, and I think we've got somebody was supposed to be here. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you guys probably been watching the feeds. I've been seeing them hanging back there a little bit, but here's a couple of guys that we've been working with for quite a while now.
Oh, that's right. Oh man, yeah. Dave, bring those. Where are those dudes?
We're going to bring up Dave and Kevin. Obviously, there they are.
Oh, hey!
Wake up.
I'm awake. Hey. What's up, guys?
Well, we knew we needed to give Dave time to glue on his chin whiskers, so.
Correct. And I had him do it because everybody else left already, and he put him on crooked. That's the damnedest thing. Oh. Guys, how are you? Roger, great to see you. John, always a great time to see you, too. Hope you guys are doing well.
Great to see you guys, man. Man, I was reminded how far back we go, Dave.
Oh.
And, it's a pleasure to have you on here. You're a rock star.
Not trying to show your age or anything, but it was even before my time, if I believe it, when I first started helping.
I think it was shortly after the Earth cooled. But other than that,
I'm old, Roger.
Yeah, he's super old. He just had a birthday. He's 63 this year.
I'm gonna put my glasses on so I can see all this crap.
You don't look a day. You don't look a day over 62.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. These young bucks, one of these days, these young bucks will figure out that.
Well, John, talk to these guys.
the cool thing is, I've been helping Roger out, work with a lot of the car builders and a lot of the TV shows and stuff. And, it really is, an honor and, a really blessing to be able to do the stuff you love. And, one of the biggest things that, I get asked from people is, working with guys like you guys and some of the other, are these guys really as nice in person? And, I got to be honest, you guys, you're not as nice in person as you are on TV.
If I could get through the screen, John, you know that's not true. We're super nice.
Well, you didn't let me finish, as always, Kevin. You just had to butt right in. You guys are actually more down to earth in person than, on TV, because you guys, people realize, you're real people. You're down to earth. You guys are so much fun to hang out with. I mean, I remember sitting in the parking lot with you guys after hours, sitting on a tailgate of a truck having a couple beers. I mean, just chilling and hanging out. And that's what a lot of people don't understand is you guys got, the #1 car show on the planet. You build absolutely the most incredible vehicles. But when it comes down to it, you guys are just really awesome. I mean, we hang out, when we used to go to SEMA, hopefully we will again.
Oh, yeah.
And I know, Kevin, we were talking about getting together for pizza, and that offer is still absolutely on the table.
That's one of my favorite activities for SEMA. That's how you kick off your whole week, is have pizza with John.
That's right.
Yeah. It's always a good time with you guys, and like I say, we want to continue to make that happen. And and like Roger said, we've been working together for I don't even know how long. I mean, back I think when Sherry was your publicist.
When Sherry reached out, Sherry reached out to me. I remember, 10 years ago or so, Dave?
Oh yeah,
yep.
Yeah.
At least. I mean, way before the show. And John, this is a great example of, because how long has the show been going on now?
We're filming season 9 right now, so we're coming up on 10 years of actually filming. Yep.
Because actually, it was before the show started that we were introduced and we started working. And, and they're a great example.
Yeah, we did actually the first big project I think we did together was actually for Hot Rod TV, and that was Apollo Antonono 64 Cadillac convertible.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right.
And we painted those amplifier cases with like murals of him skating.
Yep. Those were Steve Driscoll
right.
had done those, correct? Yeah, they were Steve.
Cool. Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah, mounted those on the quarter panels on the sides.
Yep. Exactly.
I've slept since then, but I do remember. Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, you're actually triggering some old brain cells in both of us out here.
Roger's slipping, but he still has that one.
But in all seriousness, though, man, these guys are the great example of all the variety of people and groups that we sponsor in all these areas of world-class builders, base competitors, athletes, et cetera. Sure, it's great that they are successful in what they do, but first and foremost, they're great humans, and they're just
Thank you.
They're just great humans, great people to work. And that's when I'm looking at that. When you're getting at the core of a sponsorship or support, that means the world to me. And you guys have always been gold from the get-go, and that means a lot to Kicker, because that's you're out there being our face, and representing us, and we appreciate it.
Well, we like to surround ourselves with people that are legitimate and actually can pull off what we're trying to accomplish here. And we've always had great success with the stuff that we've done with you guys. Your components are in almost every single build, at least for the last decade, if not longer. And we've just had a great track record with you guys. So we appreciate you and want you to bring back your Bluetooth module, and then.
Kevin, didn't we just talk about this a couple days ago?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, did we get anywhere? All right.
Well, hint, hint, nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
God, we can't take
enough.
it anywhere.
Good enough. No, but
this
no,
is
you
why
guys,
we can't have nice things.
You guys have always been just a lot of fun to deal with. Your product works wonderful, and it fits well in everything that we do here. We're kind of the type of shop that likes to hide everything. We don't necessarily show it off, but proud to say what's under the upholstery. So
and we let the speakers do the talking for us on our builds. I mean, we hide it all away, and then when you turn it on, it sounds beautiful, and that's exactly what we want.
That's right. Does the job.
Well, and absolutely in your defense on that, and there's really nothing to defend. I mean, that's what your consumers are looking for. They're looking for great sound that disappears. And, I'm not that undifferent than you guys. You look in my car and it looks 100% stock inside, but, you open the trunk, obviously there's stuff hiding in there. but there's different ways to put it in, and you guys, I mean, you do it the best. And you know, we've been honored in the fact that haven't we unveiled 3 of your vehicles in our booth at SEMA?
At least.
I think at least. Yep.
So we had Ollie's truck. We had, I think, the black Fairlane. We had the Hummer, which was unbelievable. And that Hummer, I tell you, when I was looking at that thing, I mean, just the taillights. I mean, I know this sounds really stupid, but I'm just like mesmerized by the taillights because I know you guys custom built those, but you wouldn't know it. I mean, the way that everything was, you know, encased and encapsulated, and it's like absolutely unbelievable work. So if you know any of the viewers out there have never seen any of your vehicles up close, you guys have got to go look at these vehicles because they are absolutely just unbelievable.
Well, it's John. I mean, it's like I said. Let's face it. There's a lot of car builders out there, and there's a lot of good ones. But the level that these guys are on, but combining that with their artists, I mean, you have to be creative, be an artist, to do what you do.
Basically.
So,
you guys, I need to call you guys. I need to call you guys once a week so you can just
good pump up,
say all this nice stuff to our face. Makes me feel really good.
That's a pogo stick.
I feel like I'm blushing right now. I super appreciate all the kind words.
Well,
we've got a wonderful crew of people, and I can dream stuff up. Kevin's able to actually wrangle them all to head in the right direction. We all work very well together, asking questions back and forth, and making sure that the customer's getting what they're, you know, what they set out for is something unique, high end, good quality, and something that'll be in style in 20 years.
Right. Under promise, over deliver.
And kind of a little bit off the subject, I got a couple other interesting questions for you guys. First of all, something that, you know, was just asked me earlier. Kev Dog, where did the dog come from? Where did you get the?
I grew up in the 90s. Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre. I grew up on the west side of this country, and it just kind of stuck. Snoop Dogg, Kev Dog. It was just that kind. I got a nickname from one of my buddies, and it's kind of been that way ever since.
I've got a couple nicknames for my buddies, but we can't repeat them on this show.
I think I have a couple of nicknames for you.
Yeah. Is this a family show? We probably ought to keep it clean.
Yeah.
Well, is it past 10 p.m. Central? I think we can.
It is somewhere.
Okay.
And by the way, Kevin, I'm still disappointed. As many times as, you know, I've been to your shop and I still have not gotten stamped. I've not got the Kev Dog stamp.
I'm not touching that one.
And that's super funny because I retired the stamp.
I know. I missed out. I feel like I've been just left high and dry on that.
You know what? I'm going to bring it back just for you.
Well, you got to keep in mind, though, there was a court order, and because of the lawsuit, I think you have to actually.
I think there's a gray area. I'm going to bring it back for John. It was requested.
Perfect.
Yeah. There you go.
You'll be fine.
There you go. Blame it on me. They all do that anyway. So I know you guys had a pretty awesome weekend a couple weekends ago, and unfortunately we were not able to attend. Tell us what went on at that Master Tech Expo. I mean, we kind of know, but tell some of our viewers, you know, what you guys did, and you know, you're part of that show because it was really amazing what you guys stepped up the plate and did. I mean, it was just, I really wish we could have been there, but due to, you know, travel circumstances, we couldn't pull it off.
So I'll tell you what, the Master Tech Expo, which was put on down in Mesa, Arizona, by a very good friend of mine, Brian Schmidt. Brian's worked tirelessly as long as I've ever known him. Actually, I met him way back probably 25 years ago when I was working for High Performance Coatings, and he was working for Fosgate at the time. And he had commissioned me to do the designs for their Frontier, their Nissan products. And they actually built a couple of these vehicles. They were the Nissan Pathfinder and Frontier. And basically, I've just kind of stayed in touch with Brian over the years. I'd run into him at the SEMA show and say hi, and he was just coming out with really cool products and stuff. He had me down there, and man, I was blown away. I think there was 480 students, and I've never seen that many people all in the same direction, concentrating on whether a company had sent them there and paid their tuition or if they'd paid it themselves. There was so many people, and they were there absorbing all of the stuff that was going on in the classes they had signed up for the entire time. And the facility was over the top. It was nice. There was some wonderful new products brought in there, some great suppliers, the competition. Todd Ramsey is kind of the right-hand man to Brian Schmidt.
Yeah, we know Todd very well.
Did a fantastic job, man. They killed it. My part was basically to come in there and talk about the way I kind of design cars and just kind of add my 2 cents into it. I had the opportunity to sit in on a design class with Tom Miller, very, very talented guy, and met up with Tracy from the recovery room. And
Tracy Weaver.
Yep, he's an awesome, fun guy.
Well, I don't know if you know this. I don't know if I've told you, but when I had my store in Lincoln, Nebraska, Tracy did upholstery right next to me in the same shop.
Is that right?
Wow. He was doing seat covers while I was doing it. I mean, it's weird. We lost touch for like 20 years. And I reached out to him, and he started sending me pictures. I'm, oh my God, look what you were doing. I mean, he's really taking it to the next level. So
yeah,
Tracy's awesome. Love him to death.
True craftsman.
Absolutely. And then we met up with the guys from the Avant-Garde out of Florida. Again, just the technology and the upholstery, the enclosures, the panels, all of the stuff that they're building over there was, again, it was cool for me to be down there. I actually went a day and a half or a day early just simply to get kind of a lay of the land, because the expo is actually at the hotel that's hosting it. And so I was able to just walk into any of the classes and check out. And like, I'm always looking for new ways to build stuff and, just new ways to accomplish really big things in less amount of time so I can move on to the multiple projects that we work on at any given time. And man, my mind just went ape nuts. I mean, down there talking to the guys with the 4-axis CNC router tables from Mastercam or Cam Master. 3D printing stuff, which we do a lot of that here, but there was other units that were a lot less expensive that guys that are in stereo shops, install shops could actually take on and use.
Us cheapskates, right?
Well, no, but you don't need a $250,000 machine to build what you're going to do. And seeing some of the techniques and things that they were doing, I was just like, constantly over and over again. My mind was blown. And so it was a great experience. I'm looking forward to going back again next year. They had a wonderful turnout. It was a great success, and I'd love to be a part of it again.
Yeah, in fact, you talk about, Todd did such a great job. I think he called me Monday morning at 8 o'clock to rub up my nose that we weren't there.
I looked for you.
Yeah, well, like I say, we wanted to be there. And
well, you were represented. Your system was in our CF1. So
there you go. So, hey, thanks to you guys. And that's one of the cool things. And it's kind of, what Roger and I have been talking about. I mean, you guys go places we can't go. And, it's a team. It's a group effort. We're always here for you. It's always good to feel like you got family. And most of the stuff we do, I mean, it's just really good relationships. If we got issues, we work through it.
Totally. At the end
not that
of
we've
the
ever
day.
had an issue with you guys. I mean, it's just one of those things. I think.
No, it is. It is all relationships, and that's how I've been blessed to be able to be involved with and have things grow out of sometimes just simple conversations or introductions that have led to us having some terrific partnerships with of all sorts of people within and out of our industry. That's made sense, and you guys are at the top of that list and always have been.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks.
Much love to how you represent us, man.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, and it's always been a great relationship. We've always been able to get the products we need. You guys make a stellar product. They always work. We don't have any problems. And when they don't, you guys take care of it. It's like I said, it's a great relationship, and that's bound to happen in anybody's business. It's like we could mess up something here. It's going to happen.
Yeah, we're just human.
It's just how you take care of it on the backside. 1,000%.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
And that's one of the things I teach my guys, and I'm doing trainings. When you can turn a problem, into an asset.
Totally.
It's how you deal with an issue, whether it becomes a serious problem or, you can turn that around and make it really positive by the way you take care of things. And I do think, going back, I think that was actually one of the first conversations you and I had, Kevin, was you were calling about an amplifier that, for some reason wasn't powering up. I think it was back with the old IX amplifiers. I mean, many, many years ago. So I think that's kind of where we started, at least with you and I. And it's just, I can't tell you how fun it is, and what an honor it is to say, hey, this is my job. I mean, I can work with these guys and have fun and hang out with them, and
feed them pizza.
Yeah, good pizza. So that offer still stands,
Okay.
probably here until the end of time.
Nice.
So that
nice.
You gonna ask him that question?
Which one? Oh, I wasn't even reading the TV up there. I'm so busy looking at the camera.
I just saw that. I
All
thought
right.
that was somebody
What
chimed
advice
in.
does
It's
Dave
terrific.
have for the younger generation that want to get into custom car fabrication? And don't say don't do it.
I would never.
Turn your application into.
Turn your application into KevDog at. So honestly, El Fuego, that is a great question, and there's so many different avenues depending on what your experience has already been, what your abilities are to get a personal project. If you're not able to go to a trade school to learn that trade, if you're not able to get into a backdoor situation where you're at a shop and you're learning as being an apprentice. My advice has always been kind of like the way that I started, and that was just to get a car and start messing with it and then pay attention. I mean, there's so much education that you can get now just from YouTube even.
I think if we had YouTube back when we first
If we
started.
had YouTube back then, where would I be now, right?
We'd probably have a lot less
Probably be
problems.
racing to the moon with, what's his name, Elon Musk.
Elon Musk.
Basically, I mean, there's so many different avenues. One great thing actually that we're doing, in fact, this weekend, we are going to be in Denver, Colorado at the Lincoln Technical Institute, right off of I-70. And they have their big car show that kicks off the outdoor car show season in Denver. More importantly, is the grand opening of Kindig Academy, which is 10,000 square feet of that campus. And basically it is the MBA of how do you build a car to the quality that we do? Well, we're going to be basically vetting the people that are getting in there with pictures of vehicles that they've already built or their education that they've already gone through and stuff. And basically they will be vetted. We're bringing 12 students in at a time. These are 6-week courses, and it's going to cover basically all of the high-end metal shaping, patterning. You're going to have tool making. There's going to be the option for upholstery classes. Our good friend Mel over at NC gave us 6 sewing machines to start, which is going to be awesome. There's going to be 3D scanning, 3D printing, painting processes that we do on our high-end paint jobs, and also polishing. So all of those different things are going to be included in these classes. And then we're also going to do 1-week courses as well as weekend courses that are more specialized, and those will be quick in and outs. Because everybody's kind of doing those type of classes, but I think having the surrounding of the classes in a college with all of the equipment that the college and I have put together for this deal, it's going to be kick-ass. So Bailey Tools and Trick Tools have been great sponsors and helps of ours, and Stratasys, Faro 3D scanners. I mean, we went big time with this, and of course Cam Master just threw in a big 5-foot by 10-foot CNC router table, which is going to be badass. So we're pumped.
How do you have time to do all this? Good grief.
No
You're
kidding.
busy enough as it is.
We don't.
Things are crazy, but the problem
Yeah, you
that we've
don't.
run into, just like everybody else in the industry, whether it's in stereo shops or hot rod shops or even collision,
putting components together.
Yeah, exactly. It's hard to find people that are actually showing up or going to work still, and I don't understand that. Nobody does, and there's no reason to waste
I'm
any
not
time.
the only one that doesn't get it.
Oh, it's crazy. Well, I always jokingly say that COVID killed billions of people. Anybody that ever carried a trade, built shit, made shit, they're all dead. So
it killed people's desire to go out and work and actually do something with their hands.
So,
it seems like.
So without being political about it, we still had a problem, and I can't find enough employees. We have 35 right now. I could use double that. I'm 6 years back.
I had no idea you had 35.
And our CF1 Corvettes, number 4 just finished. I just sold number 24 over the weekend.
The 24th one sold.
The 24th one is sold. I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh!
I have to get him in touch with my therapist every time I tell him how much work he's got.
So much work to do. We have so much work to do. And then on top of it, we still have all of the one-off
The other
vehicles
builds
that take 10 to 12 months.
Yep. So the point of this college is to try and hopefully amplify the amount of people that are qualified to build the type of cars we're building, and hopefully get them interested. And if they don't come to work for me, maybe they go to work for themselves or go to work for another shop. Hopefully our industry will benefit from, promoting this type of education and get
How
people
can it
back
not?
to work. Yep.
And that's awesome. I mean, it just shows, like I said earlier, you guys are actually cooler in person than you're on TV, because you don't hear about this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
So
that's good stuff.
There's
I mean,
only
we're
one
lucky to
thing
have these
that
guys on
whole course is missing. That's an audio course. I'm, kind of
So,
disappointed you didn't reach out.
I think you should be disappointed right up until I finished saying what I was going to say because I was about to.
Okay. Here it comes.
Master Tech and my good friend Brian Schmidt was so excited about the response that we had at the Master Tech Expo that he is also going to get involved. So we're opening the conversation of where he can fit in, what he can help do. And he's very much a part of that. So stay tuned, kids. It's just going to get crazier.
Yeah, and I've said this many times. I mean,
epic.
Brian has left such a mark on this industry. When people have, been to his, schools and, participated with his, the guy he is absolutely just left it. That guy, follow Brian. I mean,
right. Yep.
He's just amazing, like I say.
We're looking forward to rocking it big time at Master Tech next year.
Did you hear that?
Watch out.
Well, I'll see you guys there, definitely.
But I'm going to go. Dave's going to let me go next year.
I'm going to bring him next year.
I didn't get to go this year.
Oh, wait, that was the only caviat.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Kevin, you and I can be off on the side.
You gotta stay home.
You got some good pizza places down
I
there.
got to go.
Actually, I got a couple really cool places.
Hey,
in
did I
Phoenix
hurt your
that I
feeling?
like.
No, yeah, maybe. I only have one. I told you about that.
You heard all.
Damn it! I know. I'm sorry. I forget about that.
Like I say, we're looking forward to a cool 2022, and as always, you guys know exactly how to get a hold of all of us if you ever need anything. And
totally.
I know we kept you out a little late. We went on to take up too much of your time, but you guys are absolutely welcome to stay and hang on for the rest of the show. And like I say, just thanks again for everything. And like I say, looking forward to continuing this friendship. And we're going to make it go to the moon.
The feeling is definitely mutual for sure. Like I said, even 10 years ago, Kicker was a company that I personally, and I know Dave also, we always looked up to. And when we were able to partner with you, it was like a dream come true. And then here we are 10 years later, and we still have this great relationship. So
we still like each other.
It's still one of those things. Like I always look up to you guys as an amazing audio company, hands down. And after this talk, you guys have the same kind of feelings towards us, and it's just amazing. At the end of the day, I wake up every day and pinch ourselves. So thank you again for everything.
Yep. And a good friend of mine once said, Roger and John, I'll leave you with this really quick. Surround yourself with the people that you admire the most and the things that you admire the most and want the most. And one day you'll have those things and be admired like those people. And I've surrounded myself with wonderful people throughout the industry and in my house here. And it has absolutely worked off. So any advice I can give to anybody is always make sure you surround yourself with the people that you respect and that you want to represent you.
Yes, absolutely. And something else that, I was just thinking of, here I keep dragging everything out. It's a small world. I mean, don't, put egg on your face and try to go out, and make something of yourself. And, just to prove it, like you say, you mentioned Tracy Weaver, that, he and I work together. You work for HPC Coating. Jeff Holm is one of my best friends. I mean, it's amazing how small this world really is. And you can't step on toes. You can't burn bridges. So treat everybody fair. Treat them like you want to be treated. And one day you guys will be the next Kicker or Ken Diggett's on the planet. Not for a while. We still got a while.
These guys. I've heard about your backlog, so I know you're around a while.
I save a little bit of room for the right people. You have your people contact my people.
And we'll do lunch.
Nice. Perfect.
Good.
Perfect.
Well, guys, thanks again. Give everybody back at the shop our best, and we'll look forward to plugging this whole relationship on for the next 20 years.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us, you guys.
Thanks for everything.
Take care, and we'll see you
guys
soon.
Right, see you. Take
care.
Get your Snuggies on.
Too cool. Like
Great
I say,
guys.
I so much enjoy those guys, and like I say, it's all true. And when I talk about the fact that we really do have the greatest job, we get to work with the most incredible people. We get to really learn who these people are. And we've talked about it before. If we sponsor someone and they're not, showing true colors, sometimes
it happens.
Doesn't care how popular they are. It's just they're not a good fit.
But
so.
we have a great track record.
Yeah,
frankly. I mean, we really do. And like I said, we have you can go on our website and look at Team Kicker and see the wide range of people that we have. And we just have terrific people. Like I say, at the end of the day, that's who I want to be working with, is just good, solid humans. And if
then you're stuck with me.
Well, and you're great people that have we all share the same passion, which is, at the end of the day, it's what we do. We're in the entertainment business of bringing great tunes, your favorite music to you with a terrific sound and great product. So.
And it's really nice when you can turn your hobby into a career, when you do stuff you love, and just every day I come to work and it's like, I cannot believe some of the stuff I've gotten to do, Like we were talking earlier, with my buddy in Australia. You're going to go to Australia and talk car audio to those guys, Dave and Kevin hanging out with those guys and just realizing, how much fun they really are. They're exactly the same in person as they are on the show, and that's what makes them real people. So, we start talking about, sponsorships and, working with people. I mean, what does it take, Roger, to really be affiliated with Kicker? I mean, say you want to be the next ambassador.
Well, I mean, we'd love to be able to help everybody out. And obviously I get literally hundreds, as you can imagine, hundreds and hundreds of requests from literally all the way around the planet.
And when they don't get through to you, they come to me.
Yeah, and boy, do I get some doozies though. But to be sponsored, if you're like in the, let's kind of narrow it down. If you're in the looking for product sponsorship, you've got to build. You're out there, you've got this terrific build that you're working on, that you've got committed to go to SEMA, and you've got magazine coverage, et cetera, on it. We have, and I think, are we going to put that up on the screen? We actually have a document that, if you reach out to me, that we send out, that's a sponsorship criteria for this year. And so, same thing. So for everybody out there watching, if this is something that interests you, that you're looking for, you can actually email me directly at rdimry@kicker.com, and I can send you this doc. But this does a good job of going through and telling you what the criteria is. And we look for a lot of things within what you've done in the past, what your vehicle is, what your commitments are. Now, if you go into sponsorship in the form of athletes, it's a different deal. You can still just reach out to me. Same thing with if it's bass competition, sound competitions, et cetera.
And we've had this conversation that they're influencers and then they're sponsorees. I mean,
right. But at the end of the day, just like we said with those guys, everybody you're all out there being extensions of us and extensions essentially of Steve Irby and our company. And so that's super important to us. We're looking for good people.
I think I'm going to tell a quick little story, and this has been many, many years ago, long before I had anything to do with the marketing department. We're actually still in the old building over there. But I had a guy basically call me up on the phone. I used to, answer tech questions on the phone, build the show vehicles, and do the trainings. This guy calls me up and says, "Hey, I want to get sponsored." And just, you get so used to that. People ask you, you don't even react the way you probably should. I just off the cuff said, "Well, what do you want?" Just like, not really what did he want, but like, what do you want? Yeah. And he laughs off. This tells you how old it was. I mean, he said, "I need 4 ZR1000s. I need 6 ZR600s. I want 6 of the old Solo Bear." And he just lists off all this gear. It was like $15,000 worth of gear at retail. And so I basically told him at that time, prior to this document, I said, all right, well, here's, if we help people out, and it's not, we don't pay you to go, pay you $40,000 a year to compete. I said, so, this is what we do for sponsorships. You need to be working at a stereo shop for 3 years. You need to be competing in IASCA back when that was a big thing for about 3 years. You need to be top 1 or 2 of your class. And I basically list off kind of the qualifications we had at that time to be sponsored. And there's this long pause. They just asked for $15,000 for the gear. This long pause, and he cuts right to the chase. I mean, just right to it. He said, "Can I get a sticker?" No kidding. Yeah. I mean, went from this to sticker. Yeah. I will send you 2.
Yeah. Well, that's it. I mean, you got to imagine, and I get a lot of great people reaching out, but I do get the ones quite often that people have taken a picture of their car sitting out in the snow at the local Tasty Freeze, and they're like, hey, hey, I've got a 93 Ford Probe that it's all stock, and I take to all the Tri-County fairs and seed spitting contests, and I think I could put you guys on the map. Well, that's awesome, but
I don't think we want to be on that.
yeah. But in all honesty, it's like you think about it. Like I like Toyotas. I've driven Toyota trucks for 25 years, and had 4 or 5 of them. Well, what do you think Toyota's going to say if I write them a letter saying, "Man, I love your Toyotas. I've been driving them for 25 years. I think you should give me one, and I'll put you on the map."
Yeah, it's got to work both ways.
It has to work both ways.
And
I'm not trying to sound crass there, but I mean that's just kind of the truth of it.
And it's just, and like you say, we'd love to help everybody out with everything. But that's just not reality.
No, just unfortunately, and I've heard it a lot from my colleagues within our industry and other industries, the days of handing out a lot of free product are gone. And
well, with shipping the way it is, sometimes getting any product.
well, that's true.
can
But
be
we do
difficult.
have, I think we have one of the best support setups in the industry with, if you are on our team, and the access that we give you on discount to gear, and also not only that, but to our tech people like you and your team, is a big plus.
And actually, I guess I should mention, guys, the contest has ended. So if you guys have registered for the contest, we got kind of carried away talking, so we didn't get to warn you guys that we're going to run out of the contest. But we're going to be going ahead and announce the winners in about 13 or 14 minutes. But if you guys are looking for help on something like that, it's a resume.
Right.
I mean, it's
You're
not
selling,
just
you're
call up, hey,
marketing
do you
yourself.
have any employment?
Right.
I can come work. I mean, it is a whole resume. I mean, you need to.
You're marketing yourself, and that's the biggest
exactly.
advice I go. You're marketing yourself, whatever, at the end of the day, whatever these worlds that you come from, that you're coming to us for support, we want to hear, about you and the details of which. And it's a marketing yourself, and it's like a resume. You're right.
And even, people that I've worked with for a long time they're looking for, support for another project. I'm like, hey, send me an email, what you're going to be doing, who else is, participating in it, where it's going to be seen, and, how it's going to be used. I mean, all that stuff, that makes a
Very
difference.
important.
It's the more information, the better, just so we have some idea. I remember I had a guy that, we dealt with for quite a while. And he said, hey, I'm looking for blah, blah, blah. I said, but, this is what I need. He said, I don't have time to do any of that. I just need the gear. It's like, then we don't have time to help you.
Well, look at the time.
Yeah. It's crazy. So I think we got some more cool things going on,
Yeah, we do.
Roger.
Like I said, I know we have,
we've got
we talked about, we have, we have world-class athletes.
Speaking of.
And
you hear that in the background?
What?
That is awesome.
Yeah, I was just ripping through the lobby.
Just passing through on his bike.
Oh, I'm going to be getting a phone call tomorrow morning from maintenance.
Yeah,
Why are there motorcycle tracks?
Yes.
I found a really awesome
Cody?
transfer right there in the
Always
lobby.
good to see
Cody
you.
Elkins. What?
So yeah,
Good Lord Almighty.
Speaking of different areas,
Yeah.
you know what's really interesting, and they're no longer watching, but you talk about how the relationships work, and we've been working with Dave and Kevin forever. We've been working with Cody. How many years we've been working with you?
It's funny. This month is my 20th anniversary.
20 years.
20th anniversary. And like I said, it's just a nice fit. But you've also been working with Dave and Kevin. I mean, they're helping you out with door handles for your. So it's like everybody works together. If you get a good group together, things just flow.
And I've said it, not only is this guy a great human and why he's been with us for 20 years, which he's kind of a rare breed too, that we have. You have an athlete. I mean, for you guys don't know, this is one of the premier freestyle, I'm going to say not just motorcycle, but quad,
everything
stunt athletes on the planet.
Thank you.
And a hell of a car builder.
Yeah, and that's the deal. That's where he's a rare cat for us, is someone that's come in that is that athlete, but also you got the Big Jones a long time ago for building some killer, a lot that's been at SEMA.
Yeah.
I remember you sold one while at SEMA.
Yeah, on accident.
Yeah, on accident. I was there. And
Oops, I took your check.
No, my wife. I built that truck for my wife, and
okay.
She never even got to drive it.
Yeah,
I remember that.
How did you talk your way out of that one?
You know, at the time, she was kind of happy about it because we were buying our home, and she's like, "No, it's fine." And then, of course, I wanted to drive it through the SEMA cruise and all this stuff, and she's like, "Really? Not even gonna let me drive my truck?"
I remember that thing. I mean, that thing was so jacked up. I mean, Carlos could ride a skateboard underneath it standing up.
Yeah.
Well, Carlos could have fit through the tread on the tires on that.
This is true. But how did you get in? I mean, I always was kind of curious. Because you really don't see that within, I know our big roster, is how did you kind of get into that of building the cars at that level? I mean, there's one thing to customize a vehicle, but you took it to another level.
Honestly, it was really just luck or being blessed, because even how I got hooked up with Kicker, I was the kid in high school that was bumming rides from friends. You know, I didn't have a vehicle until I turned pro at the age of 20. Yeah. And once I turned pro, I was like, man, I want to do all these things to it that like my friends did in high school, right? Like I want a system, and so I went home and just started tearing it apart. And my parents, they were just like, what are you doing? You just bought this truck and it's completely disassembled in the driveway. And I built it.
Many of our parents have said.
Right, exactly. And so I built it, and then I made some did some cool things to it. And I was performing my first year in freestyle motocross with this truck at the Darryl Starbird car show, and I had it kind of on display.
The Darryl Starbird?
Yeah, in Tulsa.
Yeah.
And a guy walked by and was like, man, that's awesome. I wish I had Kicker. And I was like, yeah, me too.
Now that you mention it.
And he's like, man, we need to get you hooked up with Kicker. You do a great job representing. You know, at the time, I literally had like 2 little sponsors, but of course I was promoting them like they were the biggest sponsors in the world. Yeah. And so I was blowing them up. He's like, man, you represent good. And he's like, you're a good clean cut kid. The performance was good. Your truck's cool. Like, let's get something going. And that's what started it. And I didn't even at that point, I was like so motivated, I sold that truck and bought a different truck just for a Kicker system.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I was like, if I'm gonna have a Kicker system, I've gotta have a better truck. So I bought my first F-250, and at the time, my buddy was like, man, you need to do some more cool things to it. He's like, what do you think? And I was like, lift kit. He's like, you should go after another sponsor. And I was like, you think? I don't know. Would it work? And I reached out to actually Skyjacker.
Right.
And
we worked with them in the past.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And I reached out to them in 2003, and literally it was like, they were like, yeah, that truck's perfect. We got this new Z-Link suspension coming out. We'd love to work with you. And so I went out there, did a photo shoot, got the truck in the magazine, and they liked what I did with the truck. And they were the ones who was like, man, could we use your truck for SEMA? I'm like, sure. What's
Heck
that?
yeah, that's an honor.
Yeah, what's SEMA?
I was like, what's
you
SEMA?
didn't know what SEMA was. Yeah.
I had no clue what I was getting into. I had no clue about any of it. I was like, what's SEMA? They're like, oh, it's this really big show where we show off our products. And I was like,
okay.
I'm down. If it's really that big, I was like, I'll make my truck even cooler. And they were like, really? I was like, yeah, I'm going to do all this stuff. And they were like, okay. And I brought it to SEMA, and they were like, okay, it's really nice. We like it. You did a great job.
You did a great job.
And that just started this snowball effect where it was 2003 SEMA, and then 2004, and each year I've got this mentality where I always want to better myself, and I guess that's how I got into doing tricks, right? Like, oh, I took a hand off. Oh, let's take 2 off, and you just progress. And
let's forget the whole.
Well, that's boring now.
Exactly. Like that progressed in the same way with building vehicles. Like I always wanted to outdo myself and get bigger and bigger and better and nicer, and here I am 15 SEMA vehicles later and 20 years later. And
15?
Yeah, I built 15 SEMA vehicles, and had 2 cover trucks.
Well, the first step to recovery is admitting you have a problem.
Right. Yes. And honestly, the whole COVID thing and everything else, and kind of taking that break from SEMA, it's really kind of made me reevaluate on how I wanted to do my finances and some things, and it's been a blessing for our family, honestly, just because I've taken a break from building crazy vehicles, and I've built more practical vehicles that I use for everyday use. Like, my daily driver, you should hear it. It's amazing.
Yeah. I know it is.
But it also looks cool, and I'm not having to stress, SEMA's a stress. Like, that's a lot of people, I want to go to SEMA. I'm like, yeah.
That's where most of my hair went.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Like SEMA's such a
It's a
stress.
thrash.
But by taking this break from SEMA, it's been, and getting rid of that stress, it's been awesome. You know, focusing more time with the girls and everything else. But
Yeah, you got a beautiful family. Man.
well, thank
That's
you.
cool.
But where my sponsorships are a little bit different is I only work with companies that I have a passion for or passion with. Whether it's, you know, truck parts or bike parts or whatever it may be. When I go after a sponsor, I go after, you know, the guys that not only that can help me, but that I can see, you know, that I'm helping as well. Yeah. I got offered a sponsorship one time, and it was going to be an awesome deal for me. They wanted to pay me a monthly salary, and I was like, yeah, it sounds great. And what a lot of guys that think being sponsored is all about is just getting free stuff or getting free money or whatever. For me, it's not that. For me, it's I want the sponsor to see their return on their investment into me.
Absolutely.
And that's what makes it worth it on both ends.
Right, exactly.
I mean, that's what,
more than
why
ever
we do
now.
it.
Right.
More than ever now.
And this particular sponsor that wanted me, you know, wanted their sticker on my bike and all this stuff, it was something I didn't see me being able to provide the return for. They were a big rig trucking company that, you know, had a wrecker service, and it was a completely different demographic. And I was like, man, for me, it'd be great. For them, I didn't see a win. And it was one of those things, I literally was like, I came to them and was like, look, I love it, I'd like to do it, but here's what I suggest. And I made a whole slew of different suggestions for them and showed them that basically they shouldn't have went with me. And because I was not their demographic. It was not, they weren't gonna get what out of me. So where I go after the sponsors, I go after the guys I know for a fact I can show them a good return. One, that, you know, I'm passionate about their product. Two, am I in the right in front of, you know, demographic? You know, are the people, my fans that see me jump or ride every single week, or the guys that see me at the car shows, are they actually going to use their product? And by honing in on that, that's where my sponsorships have really blossomed in the last 20 years. For sure.
You have, man, and you know, before we go off on too many rabbit trails here, I got to bring up.
I got a few.
Yeah. Well,
You
and
knew
I
that
was
was coming.
and Tim back here just reminded me of a great deal. I mean, and there's tons of stunts you've done, but you jumped your house.
Yeah, that was one of the, like,
Yeah,
how
you
does
jumped your
that
house.
come
How did
up?
you come up? Hey, honey, I think I'm going to jump the house.
And as long as you're talking about that, the other one I was going to ask is, we just saw you jump an airplane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where does this stuff come? And how do you approach this?
So the airplane's kind
How
of
do
funny.
you sell this to your wife?
Did we? I missed it. Did we show that on?
Yeah,
there?
I
Did we,
looked up.
Did we just show him doing it?
Right, so Skip Stewart
Do
was the
that
guy who
again.
thought of this, and
See if
he's
Ernie
an
can dig that back up.
I don't know if he can.
He's
if
an
Ernie can do
amazing
that
pilot, and he was like, man, I think it'd be cool if I flew down between some ramps and a guy just jumped over me. And so he pitched the idea to several people, and they were like, you know, who should do this? And
Look, Ma, no brains.
it's always funny. My name seems to come up in these kind of situations, and I
And that's
was
on
like,
a quad too. I forgot. I mean,
there's the bike.
There's the bike and the
There's the
plane.
airplane.
Yeah.
Is that a Red Bull plane?
Nope, that's Skip Stewart Air Show right there.
Okay.
That is an insanely modified pits. That
Yeah,
thing
that is a pit special. Yeah.
It's amazing, and that guy is probably the most talented person I've ever seen fly a plane.
that
mean,
plane's
that
not
is
more than
ridiculous.
2 feet off the ground right there.
No, there's been times we've done that ever since 2004, and there's been times he's come through and was scraping his wing.
Well, and also, as I recall, you were one of, if not the first, that really were backflipping your bike and a quad.
Yeah, I think I was in the top or first 30 guys that actually flipped a bike. And then, because back obviously when we did it, there was like 2 foam pits, one on the East Coast,
Right.
one on the West Coast, and I'm in the middle.
Yeah.
So I was trying it to dirt before I got to try a foam pit, and I was a little bit slower on that one. And then I think I was the 5th guy to land it on a quad.
On a quad.
And I don't know, I think there was like 1 or maybe 2 guys that's done both at that point.
Yeah.
Now there's been a couple more. But yeah, as far as the house thing, you know, I'm not the best guy on social media. I'm actually terrible about it. I honestly, I like just spending more time with my family, but
That's
everybody
good.
thinks
Can't fault you for that.
right. Everybody thinks I did this jump over the house, you know, for my family or for, you know, social media, because that's what everybody does crazy stunts for these days.
Right.
And it's not. Like, I actually put on an event at my house each summer where we invite the local church youth groups to come out, and we call it the Back to School Bash, the last Saturday of the summer before school starts. And the Back to School Bash, you know, every year, like me, I always want to one up myself. And I had it set up where a guy was going to come out and backflip a jet ski in my pond, and I was going to jump over the spillway and get us both upside down at the same time. Well, he ended up getting double booked and couldn't make it. And I was like walking around my yard going, where can I put my ramps to make this look cool? And at that time, someone walked through my front door and someone else walked through my back door, and I could see straight through my house. And the light bulb went off. And I told my buddy, I was like, here, hold this tape. And I made him stand at my back door. I went through my living room, stretching this tape out. My wife and my in-laws were in there, and she's like, what are you doing? And I just went,
don't ask.
I went right out the front door with the tape, and I pull it out. I'm like, man, it's a little bit bigger gap than normal, but I can make this work.
There you go.
And so I went reeling it back to the house, and they're like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm going to jump the house. And I just kept reeling the tape and went out the back door. And I guess after I got outside, my in-laws were like, are you really going to let him jump the house? And my wife said, did you hear him ask my permission? He just said, I'm going to jump the house.
There's nothing, wasn't a question.
Yeah, there's nothing in there saying, oh, well, let's talk him out of it. He's like, look, he's already setting up ramps. It's
That's
happening.
Awesome.
And so we got the youth group out there, and it was really cool. The kids enjoyed it, and a guy shot some drone footage for me, and Blake Shipman edited it, and it came out.
Blake is a good dude.
Yeah, it came out really good.
Blake is talented.
Real quick before we bring on our next guest, I mean, one of the first times I ever saw, the motorcycle extreme ports was when we were in Vegas, and we had the big air bash, which we used to do, the big parties. Yep. And I remember Kenny Bartram, he was there, and he's doing the jobs, and he stops, he looks at me, and he's like, what's wrong with these people? He said, they're not moving. I said, Kenny, they're stunned. Yeah. They've never seen any. And they were. They were just all standing there with their mouths open. Yeah. And he's like, what's wrong with it? It's like, they've never seen this. I mean, you're used to it, but these people have never seen anything like this in the world. And it just completely just floored these people. It's really neat just to watch the crowd.
Honestly, the bigger bash days in Vegas were some of the most fun times I ever had, ever in my life, hands down. And that's including, I mean, I broke bones at those shows.
Yes,
I literally broke this hand at that show. But man, those were,
we were there.
Those were the most fun shows of my career. I love those shows.
And
That's awesome.
Exactly. I mean, the people we had there, I mean, we're actually helping other companies network with other companies. It was a big group of friends getting together and just having a really good time. And I always joke about the fact that I've been to every one of those and I've never seen one. Because that's when I would get to see all the people that I dealt with on the phones, all the other vendors.
So you were constantly talking.
Constantly talking, but those were some good old times, and you never know. So,
yeah, man, I'm hoping that one day maybe we get to throw like a throwback and bring one back or something.
Well, who knows?
Roger, would you like to introduce our next guest? Hanging in the wings.
Hanging in the wings.
And it's
speaking of, like I said, again, just great people. I mean, this dude, talk about coming from literally salt of the earth from Iowa. Cam Reimers. Cam, are you awake?
Keep the compliments coming.
Are you okay? You're okay.
I think you've been pretty much drafting, just hanging back right behind the leader, just waiting to make your move. And now it's time.
Well, and dude, and if you know anything about what he does, it's like the old saying: if you're not the lead dog, this scenery never changes. He's generally week to week. He is the lead dog. He is absolutely on. Nice. Cam, thanks for being here, man. It's super to see you.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, man. Well, Cam, tell us a little about yourself. I mean, and all about the class of racing that you're in, and how we go back now. You and I got connected, 5-6+ years ago now, right?
I think we're on 7 or 8.
I was never good at math.
Now you're gonna be either
one. Yeah, it's been a while.
It has
been a while. Dude. Just a farm kid from Iowa that loved a dirt bike, and we went motocross racing when I was young, and then we've done lots of different types of racing ever since, and currently racing in dirt modified and traveling the country and doing that. It's I think everyone that's looking at this has been at races like it. It's one of the most popular forms of racing, and you can find it all over the country. Really popular in the Midwest, and I love doing it. We race about 70 times a year, so.
That's what's amazing is how many races you're at.
Yeah, we race a ton, man. It's a lot. I love it though. It's perfect. We couple thousand people at every race. So it's not like it's the biggest events in the world, but we do it so often.
There's your daughter.
Yeah, she's with Grandma and Grandpa tonight. Wife's down in Dallas selling her new sunglasses brand. I guess she's got the hustle like me. A lot of hard work.
That's awesome.
Starting her own business.
Congrats.
She said you get to live your own dream. I'm gonna go do something like that too. So she started a company on the 1st of January. So kind of proud of her.
Sounds like we need to get hooked up and get her stickers on the bike.
Yeah, let me tell you. I mean, she is. Yeah, well, like most of us, you definitely outkicked her coverage with her. I met her. She's awesome.
Yeah.
And yeah, you mentioned about this type of racing. Honestly, before you, because I know when we met, you were in Lucas Oil doing the like the Pro 4s and et cetera, and then moved into this. And I was surprised to find out, you're right, this is absolutely one of the most popular forms of racing in the country.
There's actually more people that buy tickets to dirt track racing in the country than buy tickets to the NFL, MLB, and NBA combined. So
wow.
Pretty cool.
That's
when you
amazing.
think about that. It's just popular. I mean, there's 800 dirt tracks. There's a lot of them.
No shortage of places to race.
Yeah.
No.
And
yeah, we came from the off-road stuff, and it kind of hit home what Cody was talking about, kind of the value back to sponsors. That was a deal that I was starting to lose an appetite for how expensive it was to run in that series. And it was really popular when we got in, and it got a little bit smaller. It's an awesome sport. I mean, short course off-road racing is badass, but I'm like, man, for the ask of sponsors and things like that, the analytics and stuff don't match up anymore. The value's not there. Like, let's go find something that we can get a return with, and that's less stressful financially on myself. And then heck, let's race a lot. The off-road stuff, we'd try to stretch ourselves so thin to race 6 weekends a year, race 2 times a weekend. So 12 races, but man, that's a lot of weekends you leave open for racing. Now I race 70 times, and dude, I have so many races on the schedule that I could race around here in the Midwest. We could almost, when it comes May through Labor Day, could almost race 7 times a week. It's crazy.
Jeez, wow. That's amazing. Well, and obviously what's great, I mean, selfishly for us is you're out there rocking our brand in front of a great demo, just like we were talking about with the people that Cody's in front of, and how good you guys are with that interaction before and after the race is what is so great for obviously all of us, but with that, how much we appreciate, and this is why we love to talk. We don't talk enough about you guys and everybody that's on our roster and the love that you give us.
Yeah, I love it. These races. I mean, this demographic is engaged. I mean, they're so in love with the drivers that they love, and I mean, I've always said a bunch of these fans sitting in the stands on a Saturday night at dirt track love racing more than I do. You know what I mean? Like, and they're just passionate about things, and I mean, those are the people that you want supporting brands and whatnot. And it's one of those things that you can put together the marketing analytics and things like that. And it's something that I've taken classes for and taught myself a lot in to be prepared for conversations like this, but it's got to pass the eye test too. I mean, Cody's probably got events just like mine where you can walk in and go, holy smokes, this is the people we want to hit. You know what I mean? And
exactly.
All these dirt track races have that. It's pretty cool. And it's been getting a lot of notoriety lately. You see NASCAR, they're spending, I'm watching the Bristol Dirt Nationals right now. They just spend millions of dollars to cover one of their best facilities in dirt.
Wow. Isn't that crazy?
To try to connect with this dirt track fan. I mean, it's what used to be about TV numbers and sticker size and things like that, although they still matter. I mean, social media is so accessible anymore that I mean, every dirt track racer could do what I'm doing. I'm not God's greatest gift to a race car driver by any means. It's just separate the business side of from the racing, and you can make it work. It definitely takes a lot of effort on the back end. Would I love to just slap a sticker on and go racing? Sure, but there's a lot more to it.
Oh, amen.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
Amen.
he was
Yeah.
saying the more to it part, you know, it's the engagement that we have with the fans, I think, plays such a huge part on, you know, the pre-show, you know, autograph sessions, or even the post-show autograph sessions.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when they come and they find you in the pits, I'm sure he gets to show them the car, his
Oh, yeah.
personal rig. I can't tell you how many people I've set in my truck. I'm like, oh, listen to this, and we,
Yep.
you know, we start cranking up the systems, and
Oh yeah, he's got his daily driver rocks it.
yeah, I mean,
His truck. Yeah.
it's that engagement that plays a part, and I think where you guys probably get hammered with sponsorship requests, and they're like, oh, you know, I've got a truck, you know, give me a sponsorship.
Yeah.
And it's like, what those guys need to understand is like, well, what are you willing to do for that?
Yeah.
And honestly, I bet he would agree with me. If we really put our hours to dollars, like we way outwork, we way outwork our sponsorships. But it's the passion, you know. It's we love the product, we love the fans, and connecting the two. It honestly, like for guys like myself and him, it makes us happy doing that.
Yeah, I know, and that is that's the difference too. I mean, and I at least I feel like I've been doing this long enough now, because when I get those requests, like you say, and I get tons from all around, it becomes easier and easier to, you know, I usually know pretty quick who's going to get my time, you know, and guys like you make it easy.
Yeah.
Trust me, you know, I mean, you really do. And
Well,
Cam, you just, and man, I think, how many podiums? I mean, you've been on what, 8 podiums already this season? Is that right?
Yeah, we haven't finished out of top 5 yet. We've won 3 out of 10. Honestly, I got greedy leaving Arizona. We strung together 4 seconds in a row to leave that place, and I'm like, dude, which is fine, but that's really good. You know, you're not tearing equipment up, you're running good. We were one of the fastest cars in the track, but I'm like, come on, Cam, you got to figure out how to get one of those W's up there if you're gonna run second. You know, so wish we would have had 4 or 5, but that's getting greedy. You know, it's a type of racing that's honestly really hard to stack wins in, especially once we come back here to the Midwest. There's more and more cars. It's not uncommon for us to run on a weekend night, and I'm talking local base pay show. We'll have 60 cars I got to race against, you know, and you know, a couple people are doing it professionally, and you know, getting help from, you know, great companies like Kicker to get them to the racetrack, and then, you know, you're racing for your food and mortgage, you know, from there. But there's a lot of people that I was telling John earlier. I mean, I get my butt kicked by a guy that poured concrete that morning, you know, or the guy that framed a house and rushed to the racetrack. There's good race car drivers in dirt
that's
tracks.
awesome.
Like it's nuts.
It's kind of like it's kind of like the privateers and supercross, or you know, with motors and stuff. You know,
That's where his job is a whole lot harder than mine. All I got to do is show up, do my tricks I know how to do.
Stay alive.
Yeah, stay alive. But
There is that.
But literally,
that little detail.
You know, all eyes in the house are on me for that 3 seconds I'm in the air.
Right.
And I don't have to compete for that spot. So hats off to you,
Oh
man.
yeah,
Good
man.
job.
Thanks.
Yeah, he's out there earning it, man, without a doubt. Now we just got to work on something for a backdrop. I mean, is this really? I mean, we're
The thermostat. We were talking about that earlier. I like the
and a
thermostat.
white wall. I mean,
You like it? I'm in prison. They just
you didn't have like a kicker banner to hang
That
or
makes the
something?
kicker shirt stand out a little bit better.
it does. It makes a kicker shirt.
Right.
I went out to the shop. I don't know, Roger, if you've seen the loft bar that I put in our
Yes.
shop. It's awesome.
Oh,
I
yeah,
got
I've seen
my
it.
big Happy Gilmore checks up there and trophies and sticker doors and stuff like that. But the
But no
internet,
internet
just
service.
doesn't quite get
I knew it was coming.
So I
knew it was coming.
went, all right, do we want blurry, you know, or do we want clean and white behind me? So we're getting
Well,
white.
I'm sure Ernie is.
He's already made
is
fun of me for it.
grateful.
Dude, I knew it was coming because my shop's the same way. Like my wife built this beautiful trophy room for me and out in the shop, and it's cool and it's got all the stuff hanging. Not a lick of
Just
internet
can't
out
get
there.
Yeah.
Not a lick of
That's
internet
awesome.
out there.
So you were talking about, you know, the racing, but, you know, the people in the stands. And I think you're absolutely right with that. I mean, all the NASCAR races that I've been to, you're spending $150 for the ticket. You sit in the stands. You really can't see the whole thing. You can't hear it. You can't go interact with the people you're cheering for, because I mean they're in the pitch and you got to have a special pass to get that. Where what you guys are doing, like I say, being out with the fans, and that's what makes it important to us. Is you guys are real. People know that, they feel that, and they want to be a part of it.
The accessibility, is what's great about some of these kind of grassroots. That's kind of where you're at, with some of these sports and
that's kind of like what I was talking about earlier with Dave and Kevin. I mean, most people, they're inaccessible, because they're on TV, but to actually, be able to talk with them, it's like, it just makes it that much more fun and that much more real.
Yep.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Anytime you can connect as a fan, I mean, that's literally one of the reasons why I'm where I'm at, because I remember going to, the arena cross races and take Guy Cooper, for instance. He was the kind of guy that would stick around all night long till 4 a.m, making sure every kid got an autograph.
Yep.
And it's that kind of tenacity that just really drives the sport and builds a fan and could lead a fan, to a career. And that's exactly what it's done with me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you
Man,
definitely.
Cam, thanks for. Well, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, yeah, you see some of the corny internet stuff of just talking about you were that kid someday, but I can remember it like it was yesterday, and went on to race, some really big events and all sorts of different disciplines. But I still go back to when I was, 5, 6 years old at the local dirt track thinking, the local HVAC guy that's winning this A main in his stock car, he was my hero. You know what I mean? And
right.
It's developed into something where there are more racers that are doing it professionally now. But man, hats off to those guys. I think it's the coolest thing, to see the passion that those guys have and the money that they spend to go racing, just a dozen times a year or whatever at their local track. It's just so darn cool that, it's revitalized me a little bit. Just from racing as long as I have, this sort of racing has really, rejuvenated me and brought back the love for it for sure.
Just seems like a lot of fun, and you guys are out there digging for every point, every corner. You're working it hard, and that's what the people like. And I think almost, you talk about the people that were doing the concrete. I think you're as much of a draw to them. It's like, hey, I could go out and run with Cam, and right. That's cool for them too. So, that's definitely another way you influence a lot of people. I mean, because you're around them. It's like, hey, I actually get to go race with this guy. He's amazing. So,
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's cool. So hopefully, as much fun as it is, I'm not looking forward to racing in your area, John, around Lincoln, Nebraska next week or this week. We're going to be probably running our A mains in the 30-degree weather, but so I might have to might have to ask for some hazard pay.
Yeah, but that's why I moved south.
Yeah, no, it's exciting. I'm pumped to get out there. That's a good area.
Well, I remember, like we were talking earlier, going out to Eagle Raceway almost every weekend with my dad. A little 8-mile dirt track, just watching the guys just tear it up. It was so cool to you walk through the pits and actually see the drivers in the cars, and it's like, that is real. I mean, you feel it and it gets in your blood, and that's probably why I never really cared a lot for ball sports, is because you just didn't have that energy. And I always tell people, if the sport's got a ball in it, I don't care. I mean, unless it's in the back seat of the car. If it's got a motor, I'll watch it of any kind. Whether it's on the water, in the air, or on the ground.
Well, there's a reason, obviously, for the last 20 years that with Living Loud. I mean, you've got the shirt on right there with Cody. Is for us, obviously, it meant as much about what you guys are out there doing in these events and sports and your activities of pushing it is about us. Is more than just turning the volume up. I mean, it's Living Loud. I mean, we know we're kind of the muscle car of car audio and have been.
Absolutely.
We used to be called America's Music Machines.
Right.
That was one of our slogans in the past.
We're the muscle car. And so there's obviously a reason why we have some of these great and world-class athletes and drivers. But I still say at the end of the day, it's the relationships and being just good humans, and that you guys are out there representing our brand. That's the most important. And that's for everybody, like, again, as we're talking about what it takes to be sponsored, to kind of bring it back to that.
Yeah, I think that's what keeps the sponsor.
It is.
obviously, I'm sure you've had guys, you're like, oh, on paper, this looks great,
Right.
let's give it a try, and it lasts a season or whatever. And I truly think that, that's why I've kept, been with Kicker for 20 years. I've been with, Third Coast Suspension and different people for, 10 plus years each, because it, like you say, it's that relationship. It's being the good human, doing what you say you're going to do.
Yep.
And like you said earlier, always under promise and over deliver. Yep. If you can't do this, then don't say you can. But if you've got the numbers and you can represent the brand, then in front of thousands of people every single week, then yes.
Right, and like I said, that goes for, again, it's important that we say it because it goes for like what you guys do. It goes for, I know a lot of our viewers on UnMasked, being in the sound competition and the bassaholics, thing.
Mm-hmm.
If they're looking for support for that, same thing. Or if you're a car builder, if you're in the world we can dig and you're building cars, that's the sort of things to always keep in mind when you're reaching out. And I don't care whether you're reaching out. I think it's a good lesson to us or anybody else that you're wanting to work with. Whatever your industry or whatever your passion is and your hobby, and you're wanting to get support, it's good to remember those things.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even like I would call myself a veteran, unfortunately now.
You're old,
because I'm old, right?
So am I. That's why I just had cataract surgery.
Right. So 20 years of doing it. I mean, there's still sponsors I go after. I literally am going after Cosmos Wheels right now because they have the wheel for my truck that I want to do as far as completing the build.
Mm-hmm.
And I see the opportunity of me getting this truck in front of the right people. And so I put together, trying to put together the right avenue, the right angle to pitch to them, to show them, hey, I am worth it. Give me a chance.
Yep.
And that's what the guys that are coming up trying to get sponsored. That's what you have to do before anything. You have to figure out what it is that you have to offer the sponsor.
Yep.
And if you have the right things to offer the sponsor and you can give them the exposure that they're looking for, then you're sponsorship worthy. But if you don't, you might want to figure out what it's going to take to get that avenue.
Yep, absolutely.
Because you're not just asking for free stuff. That's not how it works.
Yeah. What's up next, John?
Cool. Well,
this has been a full evening, man. This has been awesome.
I think we're almost at the point where we need to give some stuff away.
Uh-oh,
I think there's
let's give
people
some stuff
getting
away.
itchy, watching the screen. The Pebbles needs to win. I think I saw that up there a little bit ago.
Cam, thank you, brother, for being here.
Appreciate it. Looking forward to seeing
and
you.
safe travels.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys for everything.
And
Good to
thanks
see you,
for being
Cody.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's give some stuff away.
Yep, we're going to keep you guys up here because I'm going to put you guys to work.
Uh-oh.
So, Bill, let's see a third place winner roll up, and I'm going to take the third place winner, Zachary S. from Kentucky. Zachary, make sure you watch for a bill. An email from Bill. Watch for a bill from Bill.
Watch
he's
for a
gonna
bill.
You.
He's going to bill you.
Watch for an email from Bill. We're going to need your name, your address, your phone number. Once again, the address cannot be a P.O. box, and shirt size. Once again, that was Zach S. from Kentucky. Congratulations, you are our third place winner. Roger, I think we're going to let you announce number 2.
All right.
So
where's it
Bill,
at?
bring up number
Winner,
2.
number 2, Steve K. from New York. New York.
There's that radio voice.
There's New York. Yeah, Steve K. Congrats, Steve K. from New York.
So be watching for that email from Bill.
Don't look for Bill. Look for an email from Bill.
And this is all part of the two-way street with a sponsorship. Cody, we're going to make you go ahead and announce the grand prize winner.
Oh, grand prize.
All right, grand prize winner.
Is?
Who's it going to be? It is
Joshua.
Joshua J. from Indiana. Congratulations,
Yeah.
Joshua J. from Indiana. Make sure you're looking for that email from Bill. Congratulations once again,
Congrats.
Joshua J.
Congrats to all you guys.
Yeah, that is awesome.
So wait, we had Indiana, New York.
New York.
What was the one you?
Kentucky.
Kentucky.
That's right.
Sweet.
So, guys, thanks for registering once again
Yes.
every Tuesday
Rigged.
night, 7:30, right here in the Kicker
nice.
YouTube and Facebook channel. We always have a lot of fun doing this stuff. And,
That's awesome.
and hopefully you guys learned something. And once again, if you guys got any suggestions, questions, support@kicker.com. I'm going to ask Jeremy if he's got any other questions or any other comments we need to point out before we end this show. We went a little long tonight, but I don't think you guys minded. It was a great show. We had a heck of a good group of people on.
We did. And thanks all the loyal viewers out there for letting us come on and show you a little bit of this little other world of Kicker and what we do with our people to support.
I'm going to let you read this one, Roger. From Eric.
My golf cart made the cover of Golf Karting magazine with the help of some ding dong named Roger.
Who's that cat?
For putting all Kicker stuff in it. Big thanks to all. Well, that's awful cool, man. Yeah, Eric. Yeah, this dude built one of the coolest golf carts, and I mean slick golf carts. It's already made a magazine cover, been at a ton of shows, and
see, that's a good return on your investment right there. When you get that cover.
Yeah, man,
and,
absolutely.
Awesome.
He hit a home run with this, and so Eric, thanks, pal. That's awesome. Very cool of you.
And
it's your show, John.
It's we can keep going all night on this, but one of the things that is nice when people do, hey, this is what I've done. If you want to keep that sponsorship going, keep that relationship. We don't always see what you're doing. Let us know. If we're helping you out, say, hey, this is what happened, this is what we did, and that just makes the relationship all that much more valuable, in a business style.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
So cool. Well, I think you kind of ruined it, for all the future guests. They're gonna have to make an entrance like that if they're gonna be on the show.
I have to admit, when he was like, "Do you think you could wheelie in?" and I was like, "Yeah," and then I walked in and I seen all the obstacles that I had to wheelie through. I was like, we can make it happen, but
see, my concern was not with you; it was with the carpet, because you never know if this carpet, being it's all sections.
I searched far and wide to find the perfect mat to tape to the floor to take off on, just so I wouldn't ruin any carpet.
Oh, we don't care about that. I just worried about it lifting up.
Oh, no, I wasn't worried about that. But the marks in the lobby from the transfer I found.
That's all right.
Sorry.
Hey,
we'll fix
we
that.
got marks in the back from Farm Truck and Asian back in the install bay.
Yes, we do.
So then we got your signature.
That was crazy.
We'll take it. It's all good. Guys, thanks again for joining us tonight. We had a great time, and like I say, hope you guys did, and hope you guys realize that there's always a chance. Like I say, you want something, work for it. Show your worth, and hit up Roger.
Hey man, send me your stuff. You can find me rdimmery@kicker.com.
So be safe. Come back and join us again next week. Same bat time, same bat channel, I think they say.
Whatever you say.
All right, guys. Thanks. Good night.
Good night.